Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and hook your boy up with a like if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Arguably the #1 welterweight fighter on the planet, Rory MacDonald is scheduled to face Bellator welterweight champion Douglas Lima in January, and it's going to be a great fight. Let's fucking go. I'm excited about this fight. I know a lot of people disrespect Bellator regardless of their new signings, regardless of the fact they've signed some of the best fighters on the planet in Rory MacDonald, Gegard Mousasi. Bellator's doing their fucking thing. And to me, this is like the start of a low-key new era. When Rory MacDonald wins his title, that's whenever he fights Douglas Lima. If he wins the title, then he's going to move on and try and move up divisions, fight at gangsterweight, win multiple titles. But the thing about Rory MacDonald... Oh, sorry, I was getting a phone call. I thought that was work. But anyways, the thing about Rory MacDonald is he's got a win over the UFC current welterweight champion Tyron Woodley. So when you want to talk about best welterweight on the planet, it's easy to argue that, because who else is in the conversation of best welterweights on the planet? Rory MacDonald, Tyron Woodley, George St. Pierre, maybe Ben Askren if you want to really start reaching. I mean, so out of Rory MacDonald and Tyron Woodley, Rory MacDonald has a W over Tyron Woodley. Imagine this. What if Rory MacDonald became the welterweight champion at Bellator? Tyron Woodley was the welterweight champion at UFC. And within like a year, we had like a co-promote, and it'd be the rematch. Bellator's champion versus Tyron Woodley, or versus UFC's champion. Bellator's champion won the first fight. Who's gonna win this fight? Who's the best? Is it Holy crap, dude! The co-promote, if the Bellator starts or continues signing big names like Gegard Mousasi, Rory MacDonald, and continues developing their talent as Scott Coker's known to do, and guys like Aaron Pico pan out and become some of the best fighters on the planet, boy, we're gonna have a hell of a co-promote on our hands coming up. I mean, even Aaron Pico, that might be a little out of the question for like a year from now, even though he could fight somebody, you know, it could be like a Bellator prospect versus fucking UFC prospect, Aaron Pico versus Sage Northcutt. I know they're probably not in the same way. I'm just saying, you know, people at the same level, champion versus champion, or it could just be a card of. The first one will probably be champion versus champion, man. My bad, I'm off on a tangent over here. I'm just thinking about the fucking co-promote between Bellator and UFC, and we haven't got to talk Bellator in quite a while because there hasn't been any Bellator events for almost over a month now. Ever since Mayweather-McGregor, there were no Bellator events like scheduled a whole month before that. Like a week after that, we still haven't had Bellator events. But that's kind of good for Bellator because they used a lot of their top talent at Madison Square Garden. So if they were going to just start having a bunch of cards after that, they probably wouldn't have been very stacked because all their top talent was either on vacation or resting or injured or whatever, because they put so much of their talent on that huge New York pay-per-view. So this time off really has helped Bellator, I think, in my opinion, because now we're going to have at least, you know, Rory MacDonald will be able to be on a January card, and then before that we're going to have like Gegard Mousasi fighting and shit. So we can start scheduling some of those people that fought at Madison Square Garden that might have needed a little bit of time off. Well, they've had a little bit of a head start on that time off thanks to Mayweather-McGregor and Bellator's light scheduling. So with that being said, man, I'm looking forward to Bellator. I like Bellator. I'm not one that says, oh, that's the B League. I don't like Bellator. Their fighters suck. No. One thing I will say, though, is it is harder to get casual fans interested in Bellator. Because whenever I would tell my brother the microwave about Gegard Mousasi when he was in the UFC, he was like, hey, I'll watch his next fight. You know, you tell me when it is, I'll definitely watch his next fight. I like, you know, the story and how, because I hype Gegard Mousasi up probably more than a lot of people, because to me he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. But he was interested in watching Gegard Mousasi fighting. Well, whenever I said Gegard Mousasi went to Bellator, you know, his next fight's coming up, he's like, yeah, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch the #1 fighter, as you say, go beat up on some people that you know he's gonna beat up. And in his mind, he's thinking, oh, so they've got one of the best fighters now, so now the best fighter's just gonna pick on the guys that are not the best fighters. So it's going to be maybe a little bit longer until they're actual, well, a little bit longer. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be how long it's going to be, though, until Bellator starts getting the actual respect of more people. But it's happening, though. I mean, a year ago today, I didn't look at Bellator the same way. Before they had Gegard Mousasi, before they had Rory MacDonald, but that shit's starting to change things. So I'm excited about Bellator. I'm excited about Rory MacDonald's title fight versus Douglas Lima. Douglas Lima is the welterweight champion. He just defended his title versus Lorenz Larkin. He's in a family of fighters, man. You know, his brother Diego Lima, he was on the last season of Ultimate Fighter, made the finals versus Jesse Taylor. Jesse Taylor just popped dirty, so Douglas Lima's brother Diego, he's like, hey, I might have got cheated out of $250,000 of my Ultimate Fighter money, you know what I'm saying? So Douglas Lima's not no joke. He comes from a family of fighters, and they're not just fucking scrubs at all. So Douglas Lima's definitely got a possibility of winning this fight, but I do believe, even though he's the champion, Rory MacDonald will be the favorite, and I think Rory MacDonald will probably have the fanfare on his side. I think even though Douglas Lima's the champion, he'll probably come out to boos and get booed throughout the process, because Rory MacDonald's that fucking guy. Like I said, probably the #1 welterweight fighter on the planet. It's out of him and Tyron Woodley to me, and he's got the win over Tyron Woodley. So how do you give the nod to Tyron Woodley? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. I mean, you could say, oh, well, Tyron Woodley's farther along. He's advanced since then. And, hey, you might be right. I don't know. But it is what it is, man. Let the hitters know what the fuck you think about Rory MacDonald versus Douglas Lima in the comments. I'm out. How do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it.